History is filled with tales of impossible odds, of courage against overwhelming force. But few stories echo through the ages quite like the Battle of Thermopylae. It's a name that conjures images of Spartan warriors, gleaming bronze in a narrow pass where a handful of heroes made a legendary last stand. But what really happened in those 3 fateful days in 480 BC? Let us journey back to ancient Greece and uncover the full story behind one of history's most iconic battles. Our story begins with an empire of unprecedented scale, the Persian Empire. Led by King Xerxes I, his father Darius had been defeated by the Greeks at the Battle of Marathon a decade earlier. And Xerxes was determined to succeed where his father had failed. He assembled a military force of staggering proportions, the largest the world had ever seen. Ancient historians like Herodotus claimed his army numbered in the millions, though modern estimates are more conservative, placing it somewhere between 100,000 and 300,000 soldiers. Still, it was a colossal force, an invasion meant to crush all Greek resistance and bring the city-states under Persian rule. As this immense army marched south, panic spread through Greece. The Greek city-states were a fractured collection of rivals, often at war with each other. But faced with a common existential threat, they formed a shaky alliance. The question was, where could they possibly hope to stop Xerxes' juggernaut? The answer lay in a narrow coastal pass known as Thermopylae, which translates to the Hot Gates, named for the nearby hot sulfur springs. This pass was the bottleneck of Greece. On one side were steep, impassable mountains. On the other, the sea. It was the perfect choke point, a place where the Persians' numerical advantage would mean very little. If the Greeks could hold this pass, they could delay the Persian advance and give the rest of Greece time to prepare its defenses. The task of defending Thermopylae fell to a small, hand-picked force. Leading them was King Leonidas of Sparta, a veteran warrior in his 60s. Sparta was renowned for having the most formidable soldiers in the ancient world, men trained from childhood for a life of military discipline and combat. Leonidas chose 300 of his personal royal guards, all of whom had sons to carry on their family lines, a grim acknowledgement of the mission's likely outcome. They weren't alone, however. Joining the 300 Spartans were several thousand other Greek soldiers, Thespians, Thebans and others, bringing the total defending force to around 7,000 men. It was still a tiny number compared to the Persian host, but they were determined to stand their ground. When Xerxes arrived at Thermopylae and saw the small Greek force blocking his path, he was almost amused. He was so confident in his numbers that he waited 4 days, sending messengers to demand their surrender. He expected them to see reason and flee. Leonidas' reply has become legendary. When the Persians demanded the Greeks lay down their weapons, Leonidas is said to have retorted, "Mol and Lob," which means come and get them. The battle was on. For 2 full days, Xerxes threw wave after wave of his best troops against the Greek phalanx. The pass was so narrow that only a few soldiers could fight at a time, neutralizing the Persian advantage. The Greeks, with their longer spears, heavy bronze shields, and superior armor, were devastatingly effective. The Spartan phalanx was a wall of shields and a forest of spears. They fought with brutal efficiency, repelling assaults from the Medes, the Scythians, and even Xerxes' elite personal guard, the Immortals. The Persian casualties were enormous, while the Greeks suffered relatively few losses. They fought in rotations, allowing tired soldiers to rest while fresh ones took their place. From his throne on a nearby hill, Xerxes reportedly leaped to his feet in frustration 3 times as he watched his elite troops get cut down. It seemed the impossible was happening. The Greeks were holding the pass. But the tide was about to turn not through force of arms, but through betrayal. A local Greek man named Ephialtes, hoping for a rich reward from the Persian king, revealed a hidden mountain path that bypassed the Greek position. This trail would allow the Persians to circle behind Leonidas' army and attack them from both sides, trapping them. When Leonidas learned of the betrayal, he knew the battle was lost. The position was no longer defensible. He made a critical decision. He dismissed the bulk of the Greek army sending them south to warn the other cities and prepare for the battles to come. Their sacrifice would not be in vain if it bought Greece precious time. But Leonidas and his 300 Spartans would not retreat. This was the Spartan way: victory or death, never surrender. They were joined by about 700 Thespians, who voluntarily chose to stay and fight to the death alongside them, and 400 Thebans who were held, some say, as hostages. On the third day, knowing the end was near, the remaining Greeks met the final Persian assault. They no longer fought a purely defensive battle in the narrowest part of the pass. Instead, they advanced into a wider area to kill as many Persians as possible. They fought with a fury born of desperation, knowing they would not see another sunrise. Herodotus tells us they fought until their spears shattered, then fought with their short swords. When their swords broke, they fought with their bare hands and teeth. Leonidas fell in the heat of the battle, and a fierce struggle erupted over his body, with the Greeks driving the enemy back 4 times to retrieve their fallen king. Eventually surrounded and overwhelmed, the last of the defenders retreated to a small hill within the pass. From all sides, the Persians rained down arrows until not a single Greek warrior was left standing. They had all fallen, but they had not been broken. They had held the pass for 3 crucial days. So, was it a defeat? In purely military terms, yes. The Greeks lost the battle, and the Persians broke through. Xerxes' army marched on, burning Athens to the ground. But the stand at Thermopylae was not about winning a single battle. It was about inspiring a nation. The heroic sacrifice of Leonidas and his men became a rallying cry for all of Greece. It showed that the mighty Persians were not invincible, that they could be beaten. It galvanized Greek resistance. Just a short time later, the Greek navy, guided by the Athenian statesman Themistocles, lured the Persian fleet into the narrow straits of Salamis and won a decisive naval victory. The following year, at the Battle of Plataea, a combined Greek army, including a large Spartan force, crushed the remainder of the Persian land army, ending the invasion for good. The freedom of the West was secure. The Battle of Thermopylae is more than just a historical event. It's a testament to the power of courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable will to defend one's freedom against impossible odds. The story of those 300 Spartans and their allies has inspired countless generations. A monument stands at Thermopylae today, bearing an ancient inscription. It reads, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie." It's a timeless reminder of a small band of heroes who chose to stand, fight, and die, so that a nation might live free. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more epic stories from history. See you next time.